Hello, my name is Kai, and I am a bit of a rambler. I like to travel, learn, and tell stories. Welcome to Ramble On, my casual companion podcast. And I'm very happy to announce that everyone in Guatemala is born in spring. I think last week I mentioned that I already had a few people I knew who were born in spring, and if I met one more person who was also born in spring, late March or early April, then it would be done. Like everybody was born in spring from that point on. And now I've met two people, the local grocery store worker, Amilcar, who proved the theory. So now it doesn't matter when you were born. It doesn't matter if it's on your driver's license or your passport or your Facebook. Whenever you were born in Guatemala, from now on, you were born in spring. Actually, three other people. The security guard today, late spring, June 1st, and I'm like, hey, April, May are 100% spring. June 1st, that's a spring birthday. June 5th? No. Like, you're blurring the lines. But June 1st, I think we can safely say that's spring. So, Guatemalans enjoy summer lovin'. They rise up in the fairest season like a crop of high-altitude maize, strong and nutritious. I actually did meet someone who said her birthday was in July or August or something like that, but she told everyone when she was younger that her birthday was on April 22nd because that's Earth Day. Spring. So I think we can all agree she just didn't want to be the only person in Guatemala not born in spring. So it's wonderful to be around all these spring babies and to have discovered, like an undercover hard-boiled sleuth, the truth about generational births in Guatemala. Yeah, so I'm happy to report that everybody in this fair country is born in spring. I heard a funny joke about Quetzaltenango. I'm going to Shela soon, and the streets here in my neighborhood in Guatemala City are pretty narrow. But I've been told that Shela streets are so narrow that Jesus can't extend his arms all the way out. He has to go sideways and twist his body because the streets are too narrow for him to go full crucifix, which is really funny. And that dogs don't walk across the streets in Shela, only up and down the streets because the streets are so narrow. So now I'm really excited to go because I love narrow streets and alleys, hutongs in Asia. And there's hutongs, there's alleys in a lot of different countries, but they're all different. Like, Morocco straight up looks like Aladdin. Like, they're towering alleys, and it looks like they're going to fall over at any moment, and they're really, really narrow as well, so it feels kind of like foreboding a bit. Chinese alleys are extremely uniform and very short, so not as looming as other countries, and there's so much life within them all the time. There's a shop or a restaurant or a game stall, or there's like everything just going on, a little soup restaurant. There's always some sort of life going on, so they feel very safe and open and friendly because there's so much bustle going on in Chinese hutongs all the time. Japanese hutongs just feel, cool. They clean, organized, very quiet, but not in a creepy way. They're all also not very tall, and they're all very residential, but they're so organized that even their alleys are beautiful. So I'm excited to see these Shela streets, because the ones here near where I live, I feel like it's going to be kind of like this, because we do have really narrow streets out here in the furthest zone away from the city center. And there's still like deli, and there's kids playing soccer, and there's bustle going on. So yeah, eager to go to Shela. Let's see. Oh, Burning Judas. So it's the week of the saints, Semana de la Santa, and they celebrate by dressing up as Roman soldiers and ceremonially chasing Judas down the streets. And did I mention this last time? I saw like 6 different processions of these Roman soldiers in all different kinds of garbs chasing down ceremonially Judas. I didn't see any of the running through the streets like I have heard there is, yeah, it was still pretty cool to see all those processions. I did see, I know this is new, burning Judas. So they make a scarecrow out of old clothes and stuff it full, and then the night or a couple nights after, they burn this effigy they've made to, yeah, make him pay for his sins, I guess. But I actually saw one of these stuffed Judases. It just looked like a chubby, happy fella made of straw or grass, whatever the heck they stuff it with. I asked to stick around for the burning, and the guys that had built the effigy told me, yes, we're going to do it right away. Do you want to take a picture? It's only 12 cuts all. And I was like, oh no, I'm okay. That's not a real person. Plus I had already taken a picture with my phone. But they were not sober, and I could tell because I'm an expert in not being sober. And it was 5:45, and I was like, hey, when are we going to burn this thing? When are we going to light it up? And they said 6 o'clock. It's going at 6. And I was like, okay, I'll hang out. And then I hung out at 6, and there was music playing. There was a big boombox next to Judas' effigy sitting on the street corner. And then 6 came and went, and then it was 6:15, and this other family came by, and they were like, hey, when are you going to burn it? And they're like, 7, definitely 7. I was like, oh, man, okay. And I hung out for a little while more, but then it didn't, I don't know when they were going to do it, so I just left. I didn't want to wait all day waiting for someone to light a lighter. I've seen things on fire before. But that is a pretty cool tradition, building a effigy and lighting it on fire. Seems pretty fun. Oh, I've been thinking about Laos constantly because they have new flavors at the ice cream spot that I live like right next to. So I get ice cream every single day. And they usually have mango or strawberry or mania, which I think is peanut. Maybe it's not. Does anyone know? Mania? It tastes, I don't know. Is that apple? I'm very confused by the taste of that. It's good, but I don't know. It tastes very bland compared to the other strong fruit flavors. They just got in lime and mandarin. And mandarin's my favorite. I love orange flavored ice cream of any variety. And I've been getting double scoops every day because they got my new favorite flavors, mandarin and lime now. But that's making me really homesick, Laos sick for the Laotian handmade ice cream in Luang Prabang that I got every day. And I would get like 6 scoops of that on the reg. 4 scoops pretty much every day. I ate way too much ice cream when I was living in Laos because the handmade ice cream there was so good from this one shop. And if it wasn't for finding out about Ecuador more, I might just go straight to Laos. But Ecuador, I was reminded, is named Ecuador because it's on the equator. And they actually have a line there. And apparently they set up a bucket and a water drain so that you can see the water spin in different directions depending on which side of the line you're on, which is insane. And so I think I have to go see that before I leave Central America and South America. Ecuador will be my first South American country. Also, they eat guinea pigs and capybara in Ecuador, which I've always wanted to do ever since reading this book about owning a pet capybara and thinking it looked delicious. And I really like that. I would also have a pet capybara, but I would also eat capybaras that weren't pets. So I'm excited to find a restaurant that serves guinea pigs and capybaras. And after, I don't know, a decade? When did that game come out? Last of Us 2? Oh, 2020. I didn't know it was that recent. I didn't play either of those. I didn't play the first one until like a decade after it came out. And then I didn't play this one until 5 years after it came out. And I hate spoilers so much. If someone just axe murders all the spoiler people who love spoiling things for absolutely no reason, it would be tragic and I'd be really sad about it. But on the inside, there'd be a little gratitude. So anyway, I finally played The Last of Us 2 because it came out on PC a couple weeks back, and it's great. All I remember is that people were complaining about how Ellie wasn't as pretty, I think. but she was like 9 in the first one. So that's awful if that was your complaint about the game. I'm not really sure. I stayed away from every single online forum for like months after The Last of Us 2 came out in 2020 because I just knew someone would be shouting some dumb spoilers and just ruining it. And the game's so good, the story's so interesting, I wanted to experience it myself. And I thought they did spoil it. I happened across this one comment that mentioned spoiler, and I was like, oh no, and I like shut all the windows and like looked away, and I was like, oh man, now that's spoiled for me. Oh well. But it was one big thing, but I was like, I can deal with this. I can still play the game. It's all right. But I just played it, and I misinterpreted what they wrote. I understand what they were actually saying now. And so none of the game was actually spoiled for me, and I had a flawless, amazing experience. The game looked amazing on my computer, which I was kind of surprised about. I've had this gaming laptop for years, so the 1660 graphics card is kind of out of date at this point, but the game looked amazing and ran perfectly. Like, I looked at low settings and high settings, and it looks a little more realistic on the high settings, but I don't generally play the games for how realistic they can make foxglove flowers. I'm interested in the story, the mechanics, how fun it is to play, like what's going on in the game. And the game still looked, on its face, great. Like, the details were, I couldn't believe how good it looked on my computer. But then the story itself was so great that it could have looked way worse, and I would have been just as happy because I'm playing a game. I'm playing a visual, emotional representation of a story, how this team of developers wanted to present this story, and they knocked it out of the park for me. It's so much fun. If you like games and you're not playing it for whatever reason, maybe because it's so popular it can't be as good as everybody says, just ignore what everybody says and play it. I loved that they fixed the melee. For the most part, melee durability, a bat still breaks after like 3 hits. Or a lead pipe, that's way worse. They have like lead pipes and steel pipes that you can use for melee attacks, and those break after like 4 hits. It's a lead pipe. I understand it would make the game a little easier if you always had a lead pipe with you, because they do more damage than whatever the regular punching or switchblade attacks are, but it's a lead pipe. Pipes don't shatter into pieces after you beat someone a few times, trust me. Anyway, I had a very fun time playing The Last of Us 2. That is a good game. And shocking, I was surprised way more than one time and made exclamations to myself like, oh, this is brutal. So it's a very surprising, beautiful, well-made, very fun, and fluid game. That's what I really liked, too. All the mechanics work very well together. So you can hop over a sofa and then run away as fast as you can and dive into some bushes and hide out until they're, if they can't find you or not. The AI are pretty smart. It's just a great game. I'm as satisfied as I possibly could have been having waited half a decade for that game. And having waited, a year or two after I played the first one to play the second one when it came out on PC. They knocked it out of the park. It was so good. And I can't believe I avoided spoilers for like all the years in between those games coming out and now. Nothing was spoiled. It was just a great story. In other news, I'm a quetzal, which is a bird with a long flowing tail native to Guatemala. It's the national bird of Guatemala. They have astrological animals here also. But it seems more complicated than the Chinese astrological circle. But I'm a quetzal here, so makes sense why I'm digging this country. That's my astrological totem animal in Guatemala. A flappy bird with a big fancy butt. I'm a rabbit in China, which, oh man, could have been a dragon or a tiger. I fell, right in the middle. Got a rabbit instead. And I can't explain to you how many times someone in China would be like, this explains so much. And then they would say, see, right here, you're super organized, you always plan. And I was like, that's not me at all. I've planned nothing. And they're like, that's weird. It's usually 100% correct. Maybe it's because you're a foreigner. That's probably it. That's why the stars mistook me. They were like, hey, he's on the wrong patch of land on that little blue dot. I think I talked about Fleabag on both Ramble On episodes. I'm just going to shout it out because I finished watching it the other day, and that is such a good series. It has a particular plot device that is unique to that show that I've never seen anywhere else. And if you watch, it's only 6 episodes a season. There's 2 seasons. It's a great story. All the actors are great. All the humor is spot on. Everything just works so well together. It's very worth watching. And that one plot device is so unique and fun to see. Yeah, you can tell how much I hate spoilers. Talking in circles around any actual mention of plot. There are 2 women. No, that's too much. There aren't. I lied. There's more than 2 women. Or are there less? You'll never know from me. You'll have to watch Fleabag yourself. And you should. It's so good. I'm going to give her second show a try. I've watched Fleabag like 10 times, and I still haven't watched the new one. I can't even remember the name of the other one, but I'm going to give that a whirl next. Oh, man, I found a phone. I found somebody's phone in my Uber, and I stepped on it, and it looked like a tiny Nintendo Switch, and then I realized that was a phone case on somebody's cell phone, and I was very confused because the driver had just called me, so I thought, oh, maybe he put down his phone and then it fell back here because I live up on a hill, so and back there. And then I picked it up and handed it to him and say, oh, your phone. And then I realized he was already holding his phone and I was giving him someone else's phone. And he says, oh, cool, because he saw the Nintendo Switch thing. And he was like, oh, is it not yours? And I was like, no, I think it was the last passengers. And he's like, oh, I'll take it. And I was like, okay. But I already was like, oh man, wait a minute. And then I was like, well, it's probably just he'll give it back because, Uber tracks you. They know who was in your car before me. So if you do just steal it, they'll be able to find you. But then when we were waiting in traffic because the traffic was horrible, the phone was receiving calls and he was just decline. And we were sitting in traffic not doing anything. So he could have answered and just said, hey, yeah, it's the Uber driver. I'll bring it back in a couple hours. He could have said any reassuring message, but he just kept hitting decline. So I am hoping that he just hates using phones while driving. But you know what? He was using his phone while he was driving, so I don't think that was a problem. I don't think he's going to give that phone back. I think that's maybe why he was so delighted that I was in his cab also, because I just gave him $100 basically. So I kind of felt bad about that. If I find any more phones, I'm not going to give them to the Uber driver. I will call the person and try and return it myself. I'm sorry, whoever had a Nintendo Switch cover on your phone. I was confused anyway by the cover, and then I just didn't think. In happier news, it rained again. Apparently we're entering the rainy season here, but it's still only raining not often, and it doesn't last long either. And also that just makes me more Laos sick again. I want to get back to Laos. I want to get back to Luang Prabang and watch the rain beat the crap out of the buildings there for 4 hours. Man, I love rainstorms. It is cool here, too, to see them when it does rain, but I need more. I need monsoons. I need some monsoon season. I upgraded the computer. I increased the Windows partition. By upgrade, I mean did nothing significant upgrade. I moved the partitions because I can't install games on the Windows partition. The only thing I use Windows for is gaming. Everything else is Linux, which is so much faster and more convenient. But gaming is still native to Windows, so I'm using it but it didn't have enough space on the Windows partition to install a lot of the new games, and so I figured out how to use gparted yesterday, and while this fucking dog was barking and wouldn't shut up. I had like 3 hours from midnight to 3 a.m. to figure out how to use gparted and carefully shrink my Linux partition and subsequently move the unallocated space to the right of the Windows partition, then grow that Windows partition. So now I have space to install all the new games, which is really cool. So yeah, now I can actually use the Windows partition as I meant to use it instead of being blocked by the not enough space I gave it earlier. I gave Linux a ton of space, like 750 gigabytes, because I didn't know how efficient it would be compared to Windows or how much space I would need for recording these podcasts or audiobooks. Turns out Linux is amazing in every way, but it's also so much more efficient and conservative in terms of disk space that I just don't need the extra 500 gigabytes lying around. So I'll use those for games. That's what I need it for. I got all my automation working for this podcast. So now it's posting on Reddit and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. Except for Instagram and TikTok, I just don't think those are going to pan out. They're really a pain to set up, and they just don't seem like they seem too addictive for me to even look at. I can't deal with that. I would be okay with automating posts for new episodes on Instagram, but for some reason, Facebook permissions do not work with any of the automation software I've tried so far. If you know how to do that, hit me up, because I can't distribute stuff to Instagram until I figure out the Facebook permissions thing, and everything is connected already. It just doesn't post anyway, so I don't know. And I used more upcycled umbrella fabric to repair my backpack, so it's pretty much new. It works just like new now. It's very nice, and all those umbrella fabric is as strong as the original foldable mesh my backpack's made out of, and bonus waterproof. And it looks cool, because now I have 3 colors instead of just one fairy pink backpack that people think is odd the first time they see me, and then after that, you're just like, I guess he just has a pink backpack. I guess that large, unshaven weirdo just has a pink backpack all the time. But now I have black and yellow, one color on each strap, and then the rest of the bag is pink, so it looks like hip and fashionable now. I also washed it. I didn't realize how dirty it was until I washed it and realized that it wasn't like faded because it was so old. It was just dirty, and I had never washed it after getting it from the Taiwanese thrift store. But now I have a working functional backpack. I got to play The Last of Us 2. I think it took me 4 days to finish. Really threw myself into it. I haven't played a game in over a year. I found out that my totem animal is the national bird of Guatemala, and most excitingly, everybody is born in spring. If you want to talk to me, I'm bitofarambler@gmail.com or all of the socials. It's been fun talking about all this blah blah, and I'll talk to you on the next blah blah.